Alrighty, we continue. This is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Army is ranked 23rd in the country. The Black Knights are 7-0, and their QB is Bryson Daily, who had 6 total touchdowns against ECU, and he also leads the nation in rushing touchdowns this year. And Bryson is kind enough to join us right now. Bryson, first off, congratulations on your success. We appreciate the time, and how you been?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you for having me on. We're doing great right now. We're just trying to get ready for Air Force.
Yeah, so your season so far, 629 passing yards, 7 passing touchdowns. I mentioned, right, you lead the nation in rushing with 19 rushing touchdowns, and you have 909 rushing yards. For you individually, I know you're a team guy, obviously, but how do you put your individual season in perspective so far?
Yeah, I think it's gone well. There's still stuff I left out there that I wish I could have back. A lot more yards to be gained. A couple, missed passes here and there, missed runs here and there. But the guys around me blocking it up really well, and I've been able to make some plays. So it's been really good for the offense and the team.
You've taken a big jump from last year to this year. We had a good season last year, but now you've become kind of a national star and you're getting all this Heisman hype as well. Just how do you explain the jump and how you got better from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think just as a whole unit, we got a lot better. And that, Trent, that comes over to my stats and a lot of the other guys' stats as well. You look at our team as a whole, like we're leading the nation in rushing. We're very efficient in the pass game, and that just comes from a lot of things that happen in the offseason and just guys really coming together and playing well. But it's pretty wild, the difference in media attention from this year to last year. That's been crazy. I think guys have been handling well though. Not listening to everything and just keeping focused on what really matters.
So now you're on these Heisman lists. What is that like for you? I'm sure it's an award, obviously, that you followed growing up as a kid, and now your name is getting mentioned as potentially being a finalist in New York City in December.
Yeah, it's an absolute honor. I still can't believe it anytime I see it. It's pretty crazy. But it's an honor, and it's a true testament to what we're doing here in this program in this place. And the guys around me, they must be playing pretty dang well to have me in the discussion at all. So it's an honor, and it's really good for this program.
Have you let your mind go there? What it would be like to be sitting down and they say, and the Heisman Trophy goes to, and you're a finalist and one of the guys that are there that could potentially win the award. Have you thought about that?
You think about it all the time, growing up as a college football fan, you dream of being in those spots. But I try not to think about it too much. I'm really a, 1 week at a time type guy, and that's what this team is. That's our mentality. So I'm trying not to think too far ahead to anything like that. But I think every college football player as a kid, being a fan has thought of those moments and, thought it'd be pretty cool.
When you were making your decision on where to go and spend your college career and go play football, what led Bryson Daly to Army?
It was a bigger decision than football. It's a great education. It is big time football. It's an opportunity to serve my country. And this is a very special place. And I witnessed that on my visit, fell in love with the guys that were here, the coaches, and just everything that this place stands for. And I fell in love with that. And it was an easy decision once I came up and saw it. And the opportunity to play big time football was also a big selling point as well.
Do you have like your family any military background? Just wondering.
No, a great grandpa was in World War II, and never met him, but yeah, that's it. No military experience. So that was definitely a lot of eye-opening experiences when I got here, and there still is to this day. But no military family.
Yeah, what have you learned really about yourself then the last few years? Because that's an incredible like growing up process that you're going through.
100%. I'm a different guy than I was when I got here. Really changes you from a boy to a man. The school in general, this program. There's so many transformations. You learn a lot about yourself, and I think I'm a better man for it because I came here, and I thank God every day that I'm here.
Bryson Daly here with us. I just have so much respect for you and obviously everyone that's on your football team because we know what you guys do on the field, but then off the field, just absolutely tremendous. So with that being said, like kind of take me through the daily life of one Bryson Daly. Like what is the daily schedule like? What is a normal day for you these days?
Yeah, so normal day, we wake up about 6:30. We make sure our uniform of the day is looking good. We go to formation, they count us off, make sure we're all there and alive, I guess. Then we go to breakfast, all 4,000 cadets eat in about 15 minutes, in and out. And then we go to breakfast from about 8 to noon. And then we come up here, and from 1 to about 7:30, 8, we're up here, doing football stuff, and then get some homework, a little bit of homework done that you can, and then get to bed as early as possible and do it all again the next day.
Does it make practice a little bit easier?
Um, yeah, practice is like kind of the escape and something get to do something you love with your brothers, your best friends. So, yeah, practice is that escape, and it's the fun part of the day.
And I've had a chance throughout the years to talk to Coach Monk, and we usually get a chance to talk to him before Army plays Navy, which we could actually see twice this year. We'll get to that in just a second. But what do you love so much about Coach Monken?
He's the same guy every day. He's the most consistent person I've ever been around, and that's great for having a leader like that, because what you're going to get, and he's going to hold you to a standard, and he's going to keep the team consistent as well. So he's an awesome leader for us. He really sets the culture of being tough, being consistent, and it's awesome that we have him leading us.
For what you just said, with not much military background, obviously outside the grandfather, obviously you said you fell in love with the school when you got up there. Some people from afar would be like, hey, he could have gone somewhere else and taken an easier road where he could just focus on football. Why do you think that was the right decision for you, and something that you obviously thought you needed to fall in love with it right away?
Well, the first thing when I started talking to the players when I came here, every guy I talked to, they seemed just like me, like same mentality, same goals in life. This was all bigger than football. I really just fell in love with the people that were here, and I knew if I wanted to be the man I wanted to be, then I needed to come to this place and follow in the footsteps of these guys.
Is there anyone that you kind of used as a resource, whether it was the Army, Navy? Like I remember Keenan Reynolds at Navy all those years ago, who had some Heisman hype as well. Has there been some guys that you've leaned on to kind of like guide and find the way to navigate through some of these challenges?
Yeah, I think the entire quarterback room, before I got here and when I got here, there's so many guys that reached out. I met Kelvin Hopkins on my visit. He was awesome. And then once I got here, guys like Christian Anderson, Jabari Laws, Tyre Tyler, Jamel Jones, Cade Ballard, all those guys were in the room with me, and they showed me what it meant to be an Army quarterback and an Army football player. And they still reach out to this day, and they're awesome guys. And very thankful that I got to grow up in the program under those guys.
Now, I know you're getting ready for the game coming up in 2 weeks up against Air Force. Bryson Daly's here with us for a few more minutes. But playing Navy potentially in the AAC championship game, and then maybe again a week later. I know you're one game at a time, 1 week at a time. I understand that. But man, you got to be hearing some of that chatter that's starting to exist on that matchup, right?
Oh yeah, we hear it all the time, and it's something that we heard could be a possibility at the start of the season when we came into the conference. It's pretty wild to think about that it could happen, but we're just trying to do our part on our end to get to that championship game. So can't worry about it too much, like you said, but it is crazy that it could happen 2 weeks in a row. Yeah.
Now, I know you guys are going to play Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium coming up in a few weeks. Navy plays Notre Dame this weekend. How about their quarterback and Blake Horvath and what you've been able to see?
Yeah, they're playing well over there. Obviously, they're having a good season, and he's playing well also. Excited to watch their game against Notre Dame this weekend. Since we're a bye week, we'll be watching. It should be some good football on this weekend, and that's one of them.
Yeah, when you watch some of these players around the country, because you're in the smack of the Heisman Trophy conversation. There's been a big conversation about Ashton Jeanty at Boise State, and then also Travis Hunter at Colorado. Just thoughts on afar about those two players.
Yeah, big fan of those guys, man. I remember watching some Ashton Jeanty highlights like week 2 of the season, and no one was really talking too much about him yet. And I was showing guys in the locker room. I was like, "Look at this running back!
Wow,
He is special." And so watching him, and then watching Travis Hunter it's unreal. I don't know how he does it both ways. That's incredible. It's pretty taxing on a body to play one way for a full game. So he's incredible as well. So it's pretty cool just to, even be lowly mentioned with incredible players like that. But definitely big fans of those guys as well.
Yeah, and then for the quarterbacks, you also see Dylan Gabriel get a ton of play, Cam Ward as well. Anything you kind of get impressed about when you watch those two guys too?
Yeah, those guys, incredible players. Cam Ward's been all over the place, a lot of different schools, and he's just done awesome anywhere he's been. And same with Dylan Gabriel, just really impressive players. They'll play for a long time. And, watching those guys, I think I'm a fan of college football, so I'm a fan of all those really good players. They're playing awesome as well.
For someone that hasn't seen you play yet, how would you describe your game? What do you want people to know about your game that Bryson Daily brings to a football field?
I hope the first thing they see is toughness. Because that's the pillar of our program. That's something playing for my dad. That's what he always preached. Wanted me to be a tough player. So just toughness and effort is the number one and two things that hopefully people see when they watch me.
And what would you say? Like, I'm a Heisman Trophy voter. Why should we consider you for the Heisman Trophy right now? Just wondering.
Um, you know, um, I don't know. We're playing really well. I mean, we're winning ball games. But hopefully, I'll let them make those decisions. But hopefully, they're watching us, and if we continue to win. Never know.
Last thing I'll ask you, playing at Yankee Stadium coming up in a bit. It's got to be pretty damn cool, right?
That is, yeah, it'll be cool. We've played at an MLB ballpark. We played down at Texas Ranger Stadium my freshman sophomore year. So that was really cool. And a historic place like Yankees, we go there all the time, take the train, watch games. It'll be cool playing in there against a great team in Notre Dame.
Well, I love your story. I love what you've been doing on the field, and obviously much respect with what you do away from the football field as well. I really appreciate your time today and the insight. Thank you for doing this.
Yep, appreciate it. Beat Navy.